Great to see Tanev on the ice. Is there a better sense of his timeline moving forward here? And
Just progressing in the right direction, I'd say, more than anything. First time on the ice, just by himself.
What's the plan in terms of goaltending? Primo is on waivers. In terms of, backing up tonight and maybe starting tomorrow for you guys.
He'll to be a backup tonight.
What's, going up against someone like Fraser, what stood out about him when he was here? His leadership and just even being a young guy and being,
Very mature for his age. Very high IQ, hockey IQ. Two-way centerman. Really has good instincts with the game, defensive responsibilities, but has offensive upside. He's a good player.
What stood out about Brandon Carlo's game over the last 3 or 4?
Yeah, I'd say just being more assertive and aggressive more than anything, I think, is our whole decor, just getting harder around our net, being harder in the corners, more physical, and he's part of that.
Lawton's penalty the other night, curious your perspective. Is that kind of like a good penalty to take when you're sticking up for your goalie in that spot?
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. He's that type of guy where he's going to do what he has to do for his teammate, and I have no problem with it.
You highlighted his chatter on the bench. In which ways does he influence things with his voice?
Well, he's just got energy, that's just him. Like, he's a talkative guy, he's a team guy, good character guy, been around for a long time, understands the game very well. And just having him and Lorenz on the bench, I felt like there was just more energy on our bench and chatter and talk and things like that. So,
What do you think of the Bruins? What's the challenge of them tonight?
well, the Bruins are, I don't think, they've been a certain way for a long time. They're a hard team. We know it's going to be a hard game with the Bruins. It always is. They're physical. They got some size over there on the back end up front. And like I said, it's always a challenge with the Bruins with, I'd say, the game within the game for me. Yeah, they got talented players. Pasternak's over there still, McAvoy and players like that. But I think it's more of the identity of the game for me against the Bruins.
The last 4 periods or so that you guys played might be the most consistent 4 in a row. Why do you think it took a while to get there?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's been like you talk about, there's been a lot of good hockey, but not consistently for 60 minutes. I think that's a challenge all the time, early on in the season, I think. But definitely the last 4 periods of hockey is, some of our best that we played this year. And not just the scoring part, the all-around game of how we want to play. So, we just got to keep building off that, and hopefully we continue that here at the start of the period tonight.
How much can you build off that momentum of showing these guys from the last game? This is the north-south type of game we want to play. This is a cycle game that we want to play, and not screwing around when we get to the other team's game.
Yeah, I think success, when you have success, then you show the guys, and just conversations with the guys about it all. They, obviously believe in it more and understand that that's a good recipe for us to be successful. And we'll need that tonight against this team. We got to play that type of game against the Boston Bruins for sure.
Zdeno Chara is going in the Hall this weekend and played against him in the Cup final back in 19. What do you recall about his ability to impact the game?
Well, he could do it in a number of different ways. I played with Chara in Long Island for a half a year. He was a young kid then, but I could tell then this guy was going to be something special. And, he wasn't obviously polished like he became as a player, but just watching him daily, how he went about things on the ice, in the gym, how dedicated he was, how hard he worked, and that size and strength he has. But he can impact the game in a lot of different ways. I mean, he was definitely hard to get to play against as a forward. He just smothered you. with his reach, strength, size. He could fight. I mean, he had the ability to shoot a puck and score a goal from the point. He could control a game. Like, as a defenseman, when I think about, you can think about all the great defensemen that played in the National Hockey League. Most of them can control a game, and there's certain ways they can control it. Nick Lindstrom controlled it a different way than Chara, but they all had the ability to control a game, and he definitely can do that.
Where, Coach, from an X's and O's point of view, did you ever coach against anybody where when that guy's on the ice for your zone entries, you had to change your game plan to get pucks by or around him?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was always, we talked to our guys, and I was, back in the Philly days, we played them in the playoffs a few times and stuff, and it was always about, if you don't do things quick enough and early enough on him, he's gonna kill the play. So it was always about just doing it a little bit earlier, a little bit quicker, putting a puck behind him so he had to turn and go get it. And it was always about, if you go and try to be physical with a guy and take the body on him, you're probably going to lose that battle. So we talked about going through the arms and the stick a lot on him. Make it difficult because it's a long reach. He's got such a long stick, and that's how we tried to make it difficult for him. We weren't very good at it.